Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jake with Fitness Insider coming at you guys with another good one today. But first, as always, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you guys join the family. To everybody that has been subscribing, leaving positive comments, getting involved, I appreciate you guys more than I can say, man. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. So this video is obviously going to be an analysis of the Arnold Classic 2020, basically in its entirety. So as you all are probably aware of by now, William Bonac actually ended up winning the competition. And I don't think it should be a surprise to anybody. I think we were all aware that William Bonac was going to be in the top two. I obviously went on record saying that I thought Big Ramy was going to win. We'll get into that. But William Bonac, do I think he deserved it? Sure. I think any one of those guys, the top three, I think they all looked good enough, and I think you could have made an argument for any of them winning, depending on what you're really emphasizing in judging this contest on. So let's basically take a look at what I'm talking about. Okay, guys, so let's first talk about the guy who won the show, William Bonac. William Bonac came in looking about how he always does, which is amazing. You know, he comes in with almost perfect conditioning every time, and he's very full, very separated. He looked much better here than he did at the Olympia, basically because he had more fullness. The Olympia, he had better conditioning for sure, but it's a hard trade-off, and I'll get into that later, the balance between conditioning and fullness. So William Bonac, definitely you could make a case for you could make a case for any of the top three winning here, I think, depending on what you want, what you're really placing the most emphasis on, what you're judging it by. Now, I do understand why the judges gave it to William Bonac, and because he looks amazing. You know, I know a lot of guys don't think he has a very pretty physique, for lack of a better term, but he does have a lot going for him, and I think he came in with, you know, just the right blend of conditioning, mass, and fullness to, you know, win the show. So congrats to William. I'm happy for the guy. I'm really happy for everybody that does well in the show. You know, these guys give everything they have coming into a show, so it's always good to see someone get paid back for the hard work they put into. So congrats to William. And next we're going to go ahead and talk about Dexter Jackson. What can I say about Dexter Jackson, man? He is a legend. He is basically the GOAT. He is one of the best of all time in my book. I really do kind of, him and Ronnie Coleman are the best of all time in my book, and Phil Heath as well. But yeah, I mean, Dexter Jackson, man, he continues to amaze me. Like in the prejudging, he looked very good, but he made up so much ground in the night show. He came back looking so much sharper and better, and still full, hard, grainy muscle. I am so impressed. Look at his back, man. He looks incredible. Good hamstrings. The fact that this guy is 50 years old and still has legs, it blows me away. In fact, his legs are bigger now than they were probably a year or two ago. So I have nothing but good to say about this guy, and it was so cool to see that when he did his last individual posing routine, he was about to walk off, and they called him back on stage to basically give him a standing ovation, and, you know, he got emotional. It was a very emotional moment, you know. I'm so happy that he placed top two. In fact, you know, nothing against William Bonac, because I'm happy for all these guys when they do well, but just because this is the last time Dexter's ever going to compete, especially at the Arnold, you know, the Arnold, Ohio. I mean, this is the last Arnold, Ohio he's doing, because he's retiring after the Olympia this year. It would have been amazing for him to get his 30th pro win at the Arnold Classic. So, you know, that's too bad that didn't happen. But, you know, second place is not too shabby. It's nothing to be ashamed about. So, big congrats to Dexter. I hope the best for this guy. I hope this year, I hope he gets everything he wanted out of this year. Okay, guys, and we're going to talk about Big Ramy next. There's a lot to talk about, so it's going to be pretty in-depth. And just for the record, guys, I am losing my voice, so bear with me. I'm going to try my best to sound clear. Now, Big Ramy, where to begin with this? So, Big Ramy looked... a lot of people are saying he looked off, and I don't think off is quite the right word for this because, you know, if you wanted to say Ramy was off in the 2018 Olympia, I'd agree with you there. He was definitely way too big, watery, and kind of just, yeah, is just washed out. He didn't have much separation in the prejudging at the 2018 Olympia. The prejudging here, he was not as good as he is in the finals. So the prejudging here, he was more off than he is now, but I still don't think he was off. He still had pretty good separation in the quads. From the back, though, he doesn't have the same level of conditioning that he has from the front. And I think that definitely hurt him because he's going up against Dexter and Bonac, two of the guys that have some of the best backs in the IFBB right now. Both these guys are amazing in the back double bicep and the back lat spread. They both have super 3D separated backs and good separated hamstrings and glutes. For Big Ramy, that's not his strong suit. He don't have the most separated hamstrings, glutes. His back, though, the back double bicep looked like a very good pose for him. The back lat spread, he is super wide, and again, in the night show, there was a lot more definition there. So, had Big Ramy come in looking like he did in the night show for prejudging, and then tightened up even more from there for the night show, we might be talking about something different. Maybe he would have won this show, but unfortunately, he didn't. And here's what I'm going to say about this, all right? A lot of people are throwing hate and disappointment around in the comment sections of a whole bunch of different people's YouTube videos that I've seen. I don't think it's warranted, guys. And even if you do think it is, even if you are disappointed, I don't really get the whole like leaving negative comments, man. These guys give 100% of themselves to try to come in and look their best for a show, and to try to come in full and shredded, it is a very hard balance to meet. You know, it is very difficult. If it was easy, every guy would come in looking their best every single show. So, you know, I think it's obvious that it's a very hard balance, and you're going to have some mishaps, you know. Some shows you're going to come in looking more full without the conditioning. Other times you'll be shredded and not really full. I mean, Bonac in the 2019 Olympia, had he come in to that show looking like he did in the 2019 Arnold, Bonac probably would have been the Olympia champion last year, but he came in flat for the sake of coming in more conditioned. So it's a very tight rope to walk. So when Ramy comes in at 300 or 310 pounds or whatever they said, you know, for that size, he had great conditioning for the night show on the front. I still think he needs to figure something out to come in tighter from the back. But as far as why I think he got third place, you know, it really, I think, comes down to the fact that I think the judges are looking for more streamlined physiques. You know, when Sean Roden won the 2018 Olympia and Brandon Curry won the 2019 Olympia, it seems like they're going for those very tight midsections, very grainy, hard conditioning. Granted, Brandon Curry didn't have the craziest conditioning in the 2019 Olympia. It was still pretty good. And but still, my point is, I think the judges are leaning more towards a streamlined physique, tight midsections, super 3D defined muscle. Now, my best advice to Ramy would be this, and I mean no disrespect by this, because I'm on the side where I think Big Ramy deserves more praise. I don't think he deserves all the disrespect he's getting right now. I think this was a very good Ramy, just not an amazing Ramy. But my advice is this. I think if this was 300 or 310 pounds, just once, you know, maybe for the next show, especially if it's a smaller show, just experiment. Just try to come in at, let's just say, 280 to 290, maybe 285, you know, right in the middle, just to see if coming in downsized would translate to being super shredded, you know. And I think it would have the added effect to making him look more proportional. I think when you hit the 300-pound mark on a guy that's only 5'10", you know, everything gets bigger. The bigger you get in the whole body, especially at a, you know, you can only get so big when you're 5'10" before you start getting wider and more blocky. And when the judges are looking for more streamlined physiques, my advice for Ramy would be to come down a little, you know, come down in weight, you know, come down 10, 20 pounds, and I guarantee he will be blowing everybody out of the water. He's not going to be small at 280. He's still going to be massive. He has all the genetics in the world to be winning every single show he jumps into. He just needs to figure out the conditioning, like we've said a lot of times in the past, and he will be the front runner in every show. But I do want to go on record and say, man, I hope Ramy, I'm sure he's disappointed that he took third place here when he thought he was going to win. But, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, he didn't come in as tight as he wanted, but he still came in looking good. It was the first show in a year, and he still has plenty of time left to prove himself and to take some of these bigger shows. I think he just needs to, you know, stay focused, stay positive, you know, maybe come down in size a little bit, hit the next show that you can hit, and just, you know, look amazing, get your qualification for the Olympia, and then, you know, come in looking the best you ever did and win that Olympia. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I was going to talk about everybody, but the video is already having a longer runtime than I thought it would at this point. So I'm going to make several more videos about the Arnold Classic. Don't worry about that. I will go in depth on as many people as I can. But I will end the video by saying this. You know, I am happy for William Bonac for winning the show. I'm very happy for Dexter Jackson for placing well because, you know, Dexter Jackson, man, I can't say enough good about him. And also for Big Ramy, man, keep your head up. You came in looking good. You will figure this out and improve, and I have no doubt that you're going to start taking some of these bigger shows in the future. So anyways, guys, that's it for me. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'll see you in the next one.